2025 was not the greatest of years for the UFC. There was a lot of things that didn't work for them, a lot of poor events, a lot of fights falling through on the day of, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they didn't need. Today, I've narrowed it down to 5 of my biggest disappointments with the UFC in 2025. If you guys agree with me, let me know down below in the comments. Let's get into it. So I was not short of options when it came to making this list. Some honorable mentions are, of course, the Makhachev-Arman Tsarukyan situation with Moicano stepping in, Ankalaev snoozing his way to the belt, Dustin Poirier's last dance, but none of those cracked my top 5. Coming in at number 5 is McGregor didn't fight again. Now, I guess you'd have to actually have believed that McGregor was going to fight this year, which I didn't, but a lot of people did. A lot of people thought this was the year Conor was going to come back, and oh man, he was doing everything but fighting. Lately, we're hearing that he's trying to get in shape. He wants to fight on the White House card. Of course, you never know how true that is, but Conor McGregor is one of the biggest names in this sport. So whenever you hear even just a doubt of a comeback, you have to pay attention and you have to get a little bit excited. I'm not sure how true a McGregor comeback is, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for the White House. As for this year, though, I guess you can consider it disappointing that he didn't return. A lot of people said he was going to come back. A lot of people speculated he would, and it didn't happen. It's Conor McGregor. It had to be at least somewhere on the list. Coming in at number 4, the UFC 322 co-main and main event. Yeah, this is a big one for me. This card was absolutely spectacular. It had so many amazing fights on it. Protez, Leon, Morales, Brady, Benoit, Dariush, and then we got down to the co-main. The co-main was terrible. Valentina versus Weili was so boring, completely sucked the life out of the arena, but the main event took everyone's soul because JDM and Islam was arguably even worse. I disliked both fights a lot. I thought they were terrible, and it's really disappointing because those were some of my most highly anticipated fights of the year. I was waiting to see Islam go to 170, and I thought that Valentina versus Weili was arguably one of the best female fights of all time. But I was so wrong about that. Valentina, I guess, was just way too big for her and was able to lay on her and control her and just completely bore everybody. But honestly, I've come to expect it with Valentina Shevchenko fights, so I shouldn't have thought anything else. As for JDM and Islam, though, I expected a lot more from both parties, honestly. Islam didn't do shit in that fight. He kind of just laid on JDM, and that's because JDM couldn't do shit to Islam. So, I mean, both guys played their part. Like, JDM fought like shit, Islam just fought really boring, and it ended up being a boring fight. So yeah, that's how Islam got his second title. GSP finished Michael Bisping. Conor McGregor finished Eddie Alvarez. Islam Makhachev laid on top of JDM for 25 minutes. I don't like to make these comparisons often, but the proof's in the pudding. I was expecting so much from these two, the top of the deck at MSG, and they very much disappointed. Number 3, Jon Jones retiring. Now, on face level, I actually don't care that Jones retired. I don't really care for him. I think he's kind of a joke, and I'm kind of happy he's gone in a way, but at the same time, it means he ran away from the Tom Aspinall fight, and it means that we're not getting the fight with Tom. And to be honest, I wanted to see Tom versus Jon because I think Tom can knock him out, and I wanted to see that happen. And now, we're definitely not getting it. Of course, Jon's still talking, still trying to stay relevant, and he keeps hinting at potentially making a comeback, of course, for the White House card, because that's the only card anybody seems to care about nowadays. So, apparently, he wants to try and come back for that card. Dana's pretty adamant that that's not going to happen. And honestly, Dana, when it comes to shit like this, is pretty true when he says it's going to happen. So if he says Jon's not fighting on the White House, he is not fighting at the White House. So that's the case with Jon. And yeah, it was just disappointing because I was expecting to see him versus Tom. Finally, a true contender that could actually test Jon at heavyweight. And I don't know. Doesn't look like we're ever going to see it. He also completely ruined at least a year and a half of Tom Aspinall's prime, so he's a loser for that as well. And overall, just kind of pulled everybody's leg for the good part of 2 years. Jon Jones is a bit of a clown. He's done a lot of stupid shit, so honestly, now that he's retired, let's just leave him there. Number 2. The Aspinall eye poke. Yeah, you had to expect that this was going to be somewhere on the list. UFC 321. Aspinall versus Gane. Surreal Gane gouges Tom Aspinall's eyes out. It was absolutely brutal. There was a lot of controversy. A lot of people saying Tom was faking it or it wasn't as bad as he was making it seem. Obviously, that was debunked later on, and the idiot saw that Tom was actually really badly hurt by those eye pokes. I mean, it was both fingers, knuckle deep, and it could have done permanent damage. Luckily, it didn't. We don't have a timetable for when Tom is going to be back, but yeah, it just completely pissed in our bulls. Like, we had Tom finally back after such a long layoff because Jon Jones was refusing to fight him, and we finally do. He's finally fighting Ciryl Gane, and Ciryl Gane's having his moments and doing well, so you knew it was going to be a really good fight, a competitive one at least. And it gets ruined because Ciryl Gane can't close his fist. Whether it was intentional or not, I'm not going to argue that. It's tough to say. Nobody can really say if it was or wasn't. But what I am going to say is that it completely shit on this event and completely ruined this event and Tom's big comeback. So for those reasons, it had to be number 2 on my list. Number 1. Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. But there was no way that anything else was going to be number 1 other than this. Khamzat versus DDP. This was probably my most anticipated fight of the year, honestly. I was so excited for this one. I was finally excited to see Khamzat go for a title and finally try and get his hands on a belt. And I thought he had a worthy opponent in Dricus du Plessis. I thought DDP was going to be one of the toughest tests for Khamzat at middleweight. And honestly, I kind of hope that that's not true or else we are absolutely cooked. I don't think it is. I mean, Khamzat went in there and just completely shit on him. And that's honestly part of the issue with this fight is it had a lot of the Islam JDM thing where Khamzat got on top of DDP and didn't really do anything. And yeah, you can fault that to DDP for not being able to get out, of course. But on the same time, like, come on, man. Nobody wants to watch that shit. I don't care what you say. You don't have to be a casual or a diehard. Nobody wants to see a dude lay on another dude for 25 minutes and not even threaten for a submission. That's just boring as hell. Be honest with yourself. And that's exactly what that fight was. And I was pissed off because I thought it was going to be the complete opposite, which is very unfortunate. And yeah, it makes it the biggest disappointment of the year because was a massive title fight. 2 dominant grapplers at 185, 2 beasts that look almost unbeatable were clashing, and it just like, it was the biggest wet fart ever, honestly. There's no other way to describe it. This fight sucked ass, and for those reasons, it's number 1 on the list. So there you guys have it. Those are my 5 biggest disappointments in the UFC in 2025. This was a tough list to make. There's a lot of shitty things that happened this year, and yeah, let me know if you guys agree with me. Am I being harsh with some of this? Am I not being harsh? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, be on the lookout for many more videos just like this one. A lot of ranking videos, a lot of lists to close out the year for 2025. There's so much to discuss, so I hope you guys will be around for it. Thank you all for watching once again. I'll catch you all in the next one.